Don't listen to this alone in the dark. If a hospital room calls for help after it's already been cleared, don't be the one who answers it. And if you've ever heard a call light go off when you knew no one was inside, leave your story in the comments so someone else knows when to stop walking. Tonight's story, Don't Answer the Empty Room, starts now. I was halfway through my night shift when the floor finally went quiet. Not silent, just that low hospital hum where machines breathe and lights stay dim, and you can hear your own footsteps again. I was covering a smaller section that night, only 4 patients, and 1 empty room at the end of the hall that had been discharged earlier. I knew it was empty because I helped clean it out. Bed stripped, monitor off, bathroom checked, door left slightly open so housekeeping could come in later. I passed it maybe 10 times without thinking about it. That's why when the call light over that room turned on, I stopped in the middle of the hallway before I even realized I had. No, that's not right. There was no one else around to answer it. No voices, no footsteps, just the red light over the door glowing steady. I looked back toward the nurse's station, half expecting someone to call out that they had just admitted a patient. But the desk was empty. The screen that tracks rooms still showed it as vacant. I stood there longer than I should have, staring at that light like it would turn itself off if I waited long enough. It didn't. It stayed on, solid and quiet, like someone inside was just holding the button down. Hello? I started walking before I finished saying it. The closer I got, the colder the air felt. Not dramatically cold, just enough that I noticed it against my arms. The door was still cracked open the same way it had been all night. No TV glow, no movement. Just that red light over the frame and the call tone faintly chiming from inside. I pushed the door open with 2 fingers and stepped in. The bed was empty, sheets folded at the foot, monitor dark. The call button was resting on the rail where I had left it earlier, the cord hanging loose. No one in the bathroom. No sound except the vent above me. I walked over, picked up the call button, and pressed cancel on the wall panel. The red light over the door shut off immediately. The room felt normal again as soon as it did, like whatever had been pulling at my attention just let go. I turned to leave. The call light came back on. I froze with my hand still on the door. The tone started again, soft but steady, like it had never been canceled at all. I turned back slowly. The call button was still in my hand. I hadn't dropped it. I looked down at it, then back at the wall panel. That's not possible. I pressed cancel again. The light shut off. It came back on before I took my hand away. I didn't touch anything that time. I just stood there, watching it, feeling something tighten in my chest. The room hadn't changed. Everything was still where it should be. But it didn't feel empty anymore, not the way it had a minute ago. I set the call button back on the rail carefully, like it mattered how I put it down, and stepped backward toward the door. That's when I heard it. It came from behind me, not from the hall, from inside the room. I turned fast enough that my shoulder hit the door frame. The bed was still empty. The bathroom door was still open. Nothing moved. The sound didn't come again. I stayed there, listening, waiting for something to repeat itself so I could tell myself I imagined it. Nothing did. I stepped out into the hallway and pulled the door almost closed behind me. Not all the way. I didn't want to touch it again. The call light was still on above me. I backed away from the room, one step at a time, eyes fixed on that doorway. Then the monitor at the nurse's station flickered. It wasn't supposed to be on. That room's monitor had been shut down when the patient left. But now the screen had come back to life on its own, pulling up the camera feed from inside the room I had just stepped out of. I could see the bed, the rail, the call button resting where I'd left it, and the corner by the window. There was something standing there. It wasn't there when I was inside. I knew it wasn't. I would have seen it. But on the screen, clear as anything, something was standing between the window and the chair, just inside the frame. Tall, too thin, its head tilted slightly downward like it was looking at the floor. Its arms hung loose at its sides, longer than they should have been. Fingers spread just enough to catch the light. No. I didn't move closer to the desk. I didn't want to see it clearer, but I couldn't look away either. The thing on the screen lifted its head slowly, like it had heard me from across the hall. Its eyes were dark, hollow, but they caught just enough of the screen glow that I could tell exactly where they were pointing. Right at me. The sound came from the hallway this time. I snapped my head toward the room. The door was still cracked open. Something moved behind it. I took a step back, then another. The monitor behind me flickered again, and I didn't need to look to know it was gone from the corner now. I could feel it. The space between me and that room changed in a way that didn't need sight to confirm it. The call light stopped. Silence. Then the door opened wider on its own, just a few inches, enough for the darkness inside to shift. I couldn't stop myself. I leaned slightly, just enough to see past the edge of the door. It was standing right behind it, close, too close. Its face filled the gap, skin pulled tight over something that didn't sit right underneath. Its mouth hung open slightly, wet, unmoving. Its eyes locked onto mine without blinking. I stumbled backward hard enough to hit the wall behind me. No! The door swung fully open. It stepped out into the hallway. Not fast, not aggressive. Just a single, controlled step forward, feet flat on the tile, posture slightly leaning toward me like it didn't need to rush. Up close, its proportions were worse. Arms too long, fingers too thin and separated. Its chest rose and fell in shallow movements that didn't match any breathing I'd ever seen. I turned and ran, not thinking, just moving. My shoes slipped once on the polished floor, and I caught myself on the wall, pushing forward again. The hallway felt longer than it had all night. Every door I passed felt like something could step out of it. I didn't look back until I reached the corner. It was still following. Same pace, same distance. Not gaining, not falling behind. Just there. Why isn't it running? It didn't need to. I reached the nurse's station and grabbed the desk phone, hitting the emergency line with shaking hands. No dial tone, just dead silence. I slammed it down and turned, looking for anything, anyone, something that made sense. The monitor turned back on. The camera feed was now showing the hallway. My hallway. And on the screen, I was standing alone at the desk. The thing wasn't behind me. I froze. Where did it go? The answer came from right beside me. I turned slowly. It was standing at the edge of the desk, closer than it had ever been. I didn't hear it move. I didn't see it approach. It was just there now, filling the space, towering slightly forward, head angled down toward me like it had been waiting for me to notice. I tried to move. My body didn't respond. Its hand lifted slowly, fingers spreading as it reached toward me. Not grabbing, not striking, just reaching like it knew I wasn't going anywhere. The skin along its arm stretched tight over bone, veins faintly visible under the surface.
Get away from me!
My voice didn't change anything. Its fingers closed around my wrist. Cold. Too cold. The grip tightened just enough to hurt. It pulled me one step closer, then another, until I was standing directly in front of it. Its face lowered until it was inches from mine. I could smell something under the hospital air now. Damp, rotting, trapped. Its mouth opened wider, not to bite, to speak. The sound that came out wasn't words at first, just that same broken, grinding noise I had heard in the room. Then it shifted. The sound changed, and in a voice that sounded like mine, just wrong enough to make my chest lock up, it said my name. After that, everything stopped making sense. I remember the floor, cold tile against my cheek, the sound of a call light going off somewhere close. I remember trying to move and not being able to feel my hands. Then I saw it again, standing over me, still, watching. One hand holding the call button cord, the other hanging loose at its side. It lowered the button until it touched my fingers. I didn't grab it. It pressed it for me. A red light came on behind me. If you're listening to this, and you ever hear a call light go off when you know the room is empty, don't answer it, because it might already be standing there, waiting for you to step inside. If you have a horror story of your own, please feel free to drop it in the comments section. You never know. The next story could be yours. Subscribe to The Vault so you don't miss what comes next.